Welcome, everybody, to the Stone Down Sports Podcast. My name is Matt. Really happy to be here with you today. We've got a great show on tap. We're going to be diving into week 3 of the NFL season. As always, I am joined here by Imperium, Cussin Kyle and Rough Rainey. Rainey, we've got a game coming up here in about an hour and a half. Brandon Ayuk is going to be out. The spread is still the Niners minus 10.5. I don't anticipate them having much trouble against the Giants. How do you think the game is going to play out?
I actually made some bets before we got on this podcast, and I tend to agree with you. I played it safe. There was a 50% odds boost or a profit boost, I'm sorry, on DraftKings. So I bumped that 10.5 down to 9.5, and I used my 50% boost to put that on a Niners minus 9.5. Thursday night games are weird, man, and they're always low scoring. Something quirky happens. I don't think there's any chance in hell that the Giants are going to win. But I could definitely see it being like a 20-10 kind of game, and then I lose my money because of the hook. So I took it down a point, and I'm willing to eat that money. So what do you think? You think it's going to be that close, or do you think it's just going to be a complete blowout?
It's in San Francisco. The Giants looked a heck of a lot better last week in the second half, but it was against Arizona. So,
Yeah.
That's not really anything to write home about. The 49ers have been hot. They've opened up the season looking like the best team in football. Kyle has mentioned before that, they've got a good argument to say that they're the most complete team in football. I think the game will go roughly about how you were saying. I think they'll win by a touchdown at least. The hook there at 10 kind of makes me pause because I always think about the backdoor covers and just the multitude of ways you can get screwed with something like that. But yeah, gun to my head, squirt gun to my head, excuse me. I'd say that the Niners cover.
Yeah, I think so too. Barkley's out, so I just
Fire
and
up your Matt Breidas, everyone.
yeah. The Giants have been staying on the West Coast all week. It's a short week. I'm sure the Giants are ready to go home. If the way the Niners looked in Pittsburgh and then again against the Rams last week, I don't see how the Giants keep it close. I think there's probably a lot of opportunities for some garbage time yards for Daniel Jones, but it's probably going to be when the Niners are already up 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, the way to beat San Francisco is going to be through the air. Daniel Jones just isn't really that kind of quarterback yet in his development arc. He can get some things done with his legs and he can make plays that way, but the Giants really have, outside of Darren Waller, a team of slot number 3 receivers. He doesn't really have that go-to guy on the outside. To his credit, Darren Waller's done pretty damn good so far this season, but the key for him, just like every year, is going to be health. We already had a scare last week. He was, kind of feeling his hammy a little bit, coming back on a short week. Hopefully he can, get through this game and remain healthy for all those folks who roster him.
Yeah.
Kyle, we're at 4 minutes. Would you like to speak now?
Heck yeah. Nah, it's the 49ers home opener. No Saquon. Fire up your CMC. This is a Debo game too.
Especially with Ayuk out.
Yeah, especially with Ayuk out, but I think he'll get some rushing opportunities. I think they're going to be up big, and they're just going to rush the ball down the Giants' throat, and not much they can do to stop them. I threw a parlay together based on that. I had McCaffrey over 75 yards rushing, Debo over 16.5 rushing yards, McCaffrey with over 3.5 receptions, and I threw Bobby Okereke, the linebacker for the Giants, over 8.5 tackles and assists, plus 1050 with the boost. I really like that.
Nice.
But they take care of business tonight. Next week they got the 49ers have the Cardinals. The real test comes week 5. I think it's Sunday night football against the Cowboys at home. So
Right. Who
that'll
just
be
suffered an injury today to their
yeah.
defense.
Trayvon Diggs torn ACL, happened at practice, out for the season. Huge, such a huge loss for them. Even though he wasn't graded the best coverage guy, he was a playmaker, so they're going to miss him.
Ball hawk.
Sure. But yeah, just and the Giants. You're right. He'll make a few plays with his legs. He might score. He might do a passing touchdown, but that 49ers defensive line is relentless, and the Giants have already given up 10 sacks this season. So
Yeah, I took a prop bet that was on DraftKings for Joey Bosa to get a sack and the Niners to win. So it was like minus 130.
Nice.
Yeah, put a couple of dollars on it.
There you go. Well, the Detroit Lions didn't exactly win last week. This week they get the Falcons at home. We're hoping for a different result. Obviously, right now Detroit is -3. The Falcons have a pretty damn good run defense. They've struggled a bit against the pass this year. Detroit's pass defense was, I mean, quite frankly, shitty last week against Seahawks, and that was before they lost CJ GJ. I don't think Desmond Ritter is the kind of quarterback who can take advantage of that at all. If I'm the Lions, I want to force Ritter to try and beat me. On the fantasy side, Josh Reynolds, I know he's nursing a hammy, right, or groin, something like that. But still, if you got him, run him out there. With Monty gone, you know, the Lions, they'll turn to Craig Reynolds. But I'm not overly optimistic he's going to be anything, you know, that I really want to run out there. I mean, if you have to, do it, but you know, he's not going to set the world on fire.
no, he's not. The Lions need to set the edge and keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get outside and run with his legs. He's got 11 carries, 38 yards, and a touchdown through 2 games this year, so decent. Yeah, the Lions defense is. What are you guys laughing about? What I say?
Run with his legs.
Oh, hold on. We got a comment from Super. hold on. Doo-doo. Just got offered Higgins / Debo and Kenneth Walker for CD PPR. What do you think, Matt? What do you think about that one?
I'm taking that deal.
Yeah,
I'll
think
take.
so.
I'd rather have Higgins as opposed to Debo and Kenneth Walker. As long as he stays on the field, he's a mid to high end RB2. I think it's kind of tough to judge because we don't know the makeup of the remainder of your roster. But
Right.
yeah, it's Higgins is a slight downgrade from CD. You're going from a mid range wide receiver 1 to a high end wide receiver 2, but you're also getting that second piece back in the deal. Who would you have to drop to make room for both of those players since it's a 2-for-1?
Right. Yeah. And it'd be helpful to know who your quarterback is too, just out of curiosity. But yeah, straight up as I'm looking at it, I agree with Matt as well.
Make his cat type out a book.
So do you like Higgins or Debo out of that, Matt? Or Ramey?
Higgins for sure. I mean, I've been down on Debo this year. This week he has pretty good upside with Ayuk being out, but over the course of the season, I'll take Higgins. I'm very, very confident that Cincinnati's going to right the ship.
Even with Burrow's injury, I'm hearing things. I'm hearing things that this is bad.
He's got an open spot, and QB is hurts. I don't want to tell you to run away, but yeah, you need to smash accept on that before the other party changes their mind.
Huh. So you like Higgins even though there's a lot of uncertainty with Joe Burrow and maybe Jake Browning's going to be the quarterback here for a few weeks?
If he is, it's maybe 2 weeks. No, I'm not really concerned.
I would throw my analysis in here, but you guys know I would actually take Higgins too. I think it all hinges on Burrow's health, but even if he is out for a couple 3 weeks, this is a team that is notorious for starting slow and kind of pick it up as the season goes on. So I think when you're looking at the middle to the late season, you're not even as long as the Bengals are clicking, you're not going to see that much drop off from CD to T Higgins. He scores a lot of touchdowns too. T
He
Higgins.
does too, and you got to remember Cincinnati's defense is garbage this year, so
Yeah.
they're going to have to score to win. They're not going to
They
be
are.
winning many 20 to 17, 17, 14 games. They're going to be 28, 24, 31, 28, something like that. Appreciate you
Yeah.
tuning in, Super CNB.
Yeah, absolutely. Any more questions? Shoot them up. I think it's kind of even for me. Each team's got a lot of mouths to feed. San Francisco's maybe just slightly more, but with the addition of like Kittle, because Cincinnati's tight end is what, Irv Smith.
Yeah.
I haven't heard much about him this year, so or much this season yet. So, yeah, man, I'm worried about Cincinnati a bit. Jesus.
You know who
I
they
know.
remind me of, and I hate to say this. The
Say
early
it anyway.
the early 2000s Colts.
Oh God.
They put up a lot of numbers, ton of offense, and maybe they'll prove me wrong, but they are to the Indianapolis Colts that as Kansas City was to the Patriots. Granted, they did beat the Patriots a couple years ago to get to the Super Bowl, but we talked earlier this year. I know we all picked Cincinnati to win the Super Bowl, but it just seems like this was the year where it needed to happen. And now you're dealing with this injury with Burrow. It's kind of, I remember the Colts, it was always something, and their defense never really supported what their offense had. In the one year that they had Bob Sanders and a solid defense, they won the Super Bowl. So maybe it's a similar trajectory. Maybe I'm just full of shit and I don't know what I'm talking about. But
Both can be true.
yeah, it's starting to kind of remind me of that. Yeah, Star Wars numbers. Great call out.
All right, where were we at? Oh, we were talking about the Lions. Do either of you have anything you wanted to add from an Atlanta side? I'm firing up Tyler Algier. Obviously, Bijan is never going to be on your bench. London, start him if you have to, but yeah.
So
They're going to run. Go ahead.
Is this where Kyle Pitts finally comes out and has a game?
I don't think so.
No.
I still think, I'm not saying it's because of the Lions. I'm saying it's because of Atlanta. You know, they are going to try and run the ball 40 times on Sunday. I think they ran the ball 46 times last week.
They're trying to set football back 25 years.
Well, I mean, if they're going to win, that's how they're going to have to do it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. And that's how they're going to have to do it. So there's going to be some games, I think, for sure. There
are going to be some games for sure.
Yeah. I mean, well, that he's going to be effective and have a decent fantasy output. Yeah, sorry.
I'm a jerk.
That's okay. It's okay.
It's still fun.
It's still funny. Atlanta Matt mentioned earlier, Atlanta's defense is good. They're 10th overall in PFF defensive grade, tied for 5th in run defense. So yeah, it's going to be tough, but 23rd in pass rush, 23rd in pass rush grade and 18th in coverage grade. So, Detroit, if somebody can exploit that stuff, it's going to be Ben Johnson, regardless if they're down money or not. I think Craig will be a nice fill-in. Zonovan Knight, the ex-Jet, was signed. Yep. He was on our practice squad, the Lions practice squad. He's activated to the 53-man roster, and he did some decent things. Quick little bugger when he was with the Jets. think he had
He
400
wasn't
yards
awful
one year.
last year.
I think he had 400 yards 1 year, 384, something like that. Not the whole he didn't play the whole season, or wasn't, in the lineup per se. But
Why don't we talk about some games that are actually going to be exciting to watch, like Chargers at the Vikings?
excellent.
Ooh.
Highest point total at 54 this week.
Yeah, neither team plays a lick of defense.
Cousins is on
Akers.
pace for like 6,000 yards.
The Vikings acquired Cam Akers in exchange for some pocket lint and a promise to hang out later. So obviously that's not a vote of confidence for Alexander Madison, and just overall the state of running back this year for fantasy football. So many injuries, so many underperformances. But at the same time, I think this is what makes fantasy football awesome, because the glory is in the grind of grinding through it week after week, trying to outsmart and out strategize your opponents. As far as the players in that game, sorry, I mini tangent there. As far as the players in that game, though, most of my notes just say start them if you got it. I'm starting Josh Kelly. I'm starting, Mike Williams. I'm starting Keenan Allen, Jordan Addison, obviously Jay Jetta. You're going to have out there Cousins and Justin Herbert. Like, oh my God. And watch this be the game that ends up like, 17 to 15 or something like that.
17-9, like the Jags Chiefs game.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a really high scoring game. I think it's going to be back and forth. And this just screams Chargers lose. Like some like a last second field goal or something like that. The Chargers are going to go 0-3. It's not my lock of the week, but this is a game that I targeted, and I was looking and I thought this is a game the Chargers lose.
Oh,
regardless of what has happened the last couple of weeks.
Yep. Staley will be sure to make the wrong decision or mismanage the clock in some fucking way. I mean, for supposedly a defensive guy, they've already allowed over 700 passing yards through 2 weeks. Cousins is going to eat. Justin Jefferson, you might see 175 yards out of him this week. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, Staley is speed running how to get fired mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure is. And I think somebody like Kellen Moore could be the interim guy the rest of the way there if they were to make a change with Staley. I think we have touched on that before, but what's the line on Vikings minus? Yeah, Vikings -1 for sure.
And that's essentially your home field advantage points right there. I know back in the day it used to be 3 points now, but just with the explosion of offense here over the past half decade or so, it's down to around 1.5, 1, maybe 2.
Yeah. And if you were thinking about Madison this week just because of this offense and them getting Akers, don't forget O'Connell was with McVay and runs a similar offense there in Minnesota. So maybe you temper your expectations on Madison. I'm not saying don't start him. Just temper. He might actually come out there and get, 10 touches.
It's very possible. I think he's going to get worked into the fold a lot quicker than other people think. But at the end of the day, they're the same guy, essentially. Very similar play styles.
Does Madison got a bigger frame? Madison's got a little bit bigger frame.
A little bit, but I mean, not anything that really separates them. I mean, there are a couple Jags who are going to be fighting over the carries that are available there in that offense, and it's going to turn into a muddy mess. And neither guy is going to be worth starting unless you're absolutely 2 a.m. at the bar and the lights are coming on desperate.
Yeah,
we've all been there.
That's a way to explain it. Let's move along there. How about Browns Titans? I think Amari Cooper's a must start. In the last 2 weeks, where did I have that at? God, I'm horrible. In the last 2 weeks against the Titans, 5 wide receivers have scored at least 11 points. 4 of them had at least 83 yards receiving. The Titans' pass defense is horrible. Their run defense is still very respectable. It is the strength of their defense. But I like Amari Cooper as a must start this week. Even with Deshaun Watson's struggles, I'll still fire up Amari Cooper.
It makes sense. They got to throw the ball to somebody. The Titans defense is a pass funnel defense. That run defense is legit.
Yeah.
Like, people don't do anything against them on the ground, and once they take to the air, they can't do squat. It'll be interesting to see
Ooh,
how
that's
how
true.
the
Ding, 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 ding.
how the carries are distributed between Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears. It seems like they're going more to a split backfield, maybe recognizing that Henry's got a lot of wear and tear over the years. And while he's done a pretty good job of staying healthy, I'm sure they want to keep him on the field as much as possible. They've got slim playoff chances, I think, personally. But still, I think getting him some help there in the backfield is the right thing to do.
Yeah. We'll talk about this game a little later in our locks, but I
Okay.
I think, or we can do it now, whatever you guys want to do.
No, just no. That's fine. It's totally up to you, man. We can go to Colts. Let's talk some Colts if you want.
I like the
Colts Ravens. They're 1-1. Ravens are 2-0. It's Ravens -8 is what I saw this afternoon.
Yeah.
It's at home for the Ravens. And I don't know if you guys have looked at the injury report for both teams, but it looks like a fucking hospital ward. It's 14 total players, 9 for Baltimore and 5 for Indy. Yeah, everybody's banged up. A lot of DNPs yesterday and today. Justice Hill's newly on there too. He's got a foot/toe deal. Humphrey still didn't practice. Marcus Williams still didn't practice. Staley, the tackle, is a DNP. And then on the other side, we have the Colts, Anthony Richardson with a concussion. I'm hearing probably not. I see there's no sense to speed that through, especially with what we saw with Tua last year and maybe some, I'll say, alleged mismanagement on some things there with him and his people and the team. This is their guy to go for the next decade, and I think that they need to just proceed with caution.
Yeah, I completely agree. In a game that they probably would lose anyway if Richardson did play, there's no reason to even look at rushing him back. I think this is a great opportunity for him to sit and watch Garner Minshew. They'll try to rely on that newly found running game with Zach Moss, but the strength of the Ravens defense is their front seven right now. The secondary is not anything it used to be. So with that and with the Colts' strength being their defensive line and their linebackers, I look for this game to be a lot of passing. I think Lamar Jackson is going to have an opportunity to show off what he's been able to develop in the passing game. He's going to lean on your guy Matt Andrews and Zay Flowers, who's having a really nice rookie year so far. It's only been a couple of games, but still pretty good. I don't see the Colts covering this, especially if Minshew plays. He's a very good backup quarterback and a guy that they brought in because of his relationship with Steichen and his ability to start in short spurts when Richardson does go down, and he will if he continues to play like this, and that's why they brought Minshew in. But he's an extremely efficient passer, but he doesn't go down the field a ton. Not that the Colts have anybody that can really stretch the field outside of Alec Pierce, who doesn't really scare anybody. But I don't see this being. It's an 8-point cover. I don't see the Colts covering this. I think it's going to be a 10 to 13 point type of game, and probably pretty low scoring on the Colts side.
Yeah, we'll see what Shane Steichen's made of with having to, not completely, but change the offense greatly because Minshew's more of a pocket guy. He can scramble. He's actually been pretty good at it. So we'll see how his game plan, what he's made of Steichen. trying to, change the offense on the fly here. It looked okay last week when he came in, right? I don't think he was horrible.
Yeah, but the Texans defense is trash. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
this is
not to
true.
mention he didn't play very well. He came in, he played really well. He did exactly what he needed to do. But
Yeah,
the Ravens defense is a step up of the Texans defense.
Yeah, I don't see Minshew. He just doesn't have the juice to beat the Ravens at home. I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't see it.
Yeah, they'll like Melting Snowman said, they're gonna have to throw the ball. The issue is there's a goddamn hurricane coming that's going to hit there this weekend.
Right. Hold on. We got a
So-
question. Melting Snowman. Minshew will have to throw the ball down to the field, though. He had the benefit of the Texans prepping for Anthony Richardson and just dinked and dunked his way down the field, but I love him. Oh, I love him.
I like how you just took that off the screen and then put it back on as if that
Oh.
were new information or a new
Oh.
comment, just like I had referenced it a moment ago.
8 seconds ago.
I totally missed stuff when I was reading some other stuff. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah. So, anyways, there, Mr. Snowman, you get your statement addressed twice. But yeah, it's hard not to like Uncle Rico. He doesn't have the juice to start for a full season, but as far as backups go, he's probably one of the top 2 or 3 in the league. I mean, you could make the argument he's the 35th best quarterback in the league. And I'd even put him ahead of somebody like Zach Wilson. I'm sure the Jets would kill to have him up there this year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah. Yeah. With that hurricane coming in, the over-under is 44 right now. I think
I was totally hoping that would be read word for word. Twice.
Yeah.
Hey, he was hoping we'd read it word for word.
Well, that's what I get for reading my notes and not actually listening at the same time, too. My bad. But all funny shit aside, Ravens are going to win, right?
Yeah, I think that stays under 44 too. I could see it being like a 28-10 type of game.
Yeah, I think Gus Edwards is a good play this week.
Yeah, especially if Justice Hill is out.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's got turf toe or something like it, he might be limited.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about Bears 0-2 at Chiefs 1-1? Kansas City is, I got -13. I think that's
12.5 on DraftKings right now, but
12.5. I was using the ESPN's, and I think theirs is through Caesars. One of two things is going to happen here. Bears come out and play hard, show them this is the best that we got and lose. Or it's going to be an unmitigated disaster from start to finish and get blown out. There's going to be no in between. It's going to get ugly.
So all the stuff that's been going on up in Chicago this week with Justin Fields being taken out of context, but really he wasn't when he was blaming the coaching on some of the issues that was going on.
Yeah,
I understand that
the question. I respect
the tweet. Yeah, the tweet was put out there, and it was not his full statement, but he was honest, and everybody bashes athletes when they're honest, and that's why you don't get any great sound clips out of them. Sound bites, not sound clips. But back to my original point. I think Justin, whatever the over under is on Justin Fields rushing yards this week, I think I'd take the over. Thank you there, Kyle.
I'd agree with that wholeheartedly.
I think he is going to they're going to set him loose to show that they are not holding him back. And I think because the Kansas City defense is, and really it's the Bears offense, the passing game is just not there yet. I think they're going to put an emphasis on Justin Fields saying one read, and if it's not there, go.
It makes sense. And I understand what they're trying to do to win long term in the NFL. You've got to be able to win from the pocket. And thus far in his career, he's not been able to do so. but you also can't take away what makes him the weapon that he is. I mean, calling 4 designed runs in 2 games is just irresponsible mismanagement of the talent that they have there. Kyle, I kind of agree with you. There's 2 outcomes. The Chiefs are going to win by a little, or they're going to win by a lot. But I just cannot foresee any way that the Bears win this game.
Or cover.
Yeah,
Guess
I
it
would
could
lean
happen, but
towards the Bears not being great. As an Isaiah Pacheco owner, I am firing him up with a great degree of confidence. Oh, we got Untamed Music. I just traded Mostert, Najee, and Love for Ramondre Fields and Gainwell. Your thoughts? 14 half PPR. You know what? I don't hate it. You're banking on the upside of Justin Fields there and Gainwell maintaining his position in the backfield there in Philly. You can see I'm wearing a Lions jersey. I'm very familiar with DeAndre Swift and how he is an electric weapon, but he does not play through injury all that well, and he does get hurt. I'm a big Ramondre guy as well. I'm very happy with that.
yeah. And Mostert's old. He is going to get hurt at some point this season. Najee's just not an efficient runner. I think I would have rather kept Love somehow as a more floor guy. I tend to like a quarterback with a solid floor, and I'll build my ceiling guys down the roster. But I'm with Matt. I don't hate it. There's a lot of upside there.
Now, once they get Fields running quarterbacks are like a cheat code.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you accumulate points much faster. 100 points passing is 4 points. 100 yards passing is 4 points. 100 yards rushing is 10 points. Now, I like it. I'm big on Ramondre. I think Gainwell's a nice little sneaky get there because you know you're going to see a lot of smoke and everything going on there in Philly, and it seems like over the past couple of years, as the smoke is cleared, Kenny Gainwell is the one standing tall. Najee, that offense in Pittsburgh is a damn shit show. Yep, coaching has been trash. He said so himself. It's a mess there in Chicago. It's a mess there in Pittsburgh. Matt Canada is the worst OC in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's even any argument to be made for anybody else. I think I saw the first game there against San Francisco. They ran the same play like 8 times in a row.
That's what I was just going to say. It's so vanilla. He just seems to be calling the same 12 to 14 plays all game, and that's it. Like there's no variation, and you don't see a lot of movement with the offensive line with pulls and runs and stunts and things like that.
Matt Canada is the missionary
Tomlin
position with the lights off version of offensive coordinators.
Yep, I'm not sure who the QB coach there is, or running back coach, wide receiver coach in Pittsburgh, but I think they'd be best moving on from them. But ugly.
And you're going to see regression from Love too with the touchdowns, and he's not turned the ball over yet. So you're selling high there too.
I think it'll happen this week.
Fields.
I think it'll happen this week. So New Orleans, tough defense. Yeah, Green Bay's at home, but New Orleans defense
travels.
Their defense specifically travels very well. Geez, I know I thought I had some notes on that. Maybe I didn't. Oh well.
Yeah. What about last week? He had DJ open a few times for big gains, but he wasn't meant to throw to him. I don't think he has the confidence to pull the trigger on that ball. He's holding on to the ball like the second longest in the league, and when he does let go of it, they're not getting great results. Getting DJ was a smart move, but right now Justin Fields can't take advantage of that. You're really looking to the rushing upside for him, and as Ramey said earlier, they're going to turn his ass loose because I think Eberflus right now is coaching for his job.
He is. I think Fields at that press conference, he was speaking the truth. He was being honest, and I think he's got way too much shit going in his head from the coaches instead of just to trust his instincts. And you can see his hesitation on what he should be doing and what he shouldn't be, and it shows on the field. And it's
I mean,
no point.
and Justin Fields makes a great point. Just go down 3 hours south on I-65 and look at how the Colts have been handling Anthony Richardson, starting the game with some designed runs, with some quick slants, quick passes, one read. That's what they need to be doing with Fields to help him develop. They don't need to be go down the field once he gets 3 or 4 nice completions, gets in a rhythm, then look for DJ Moore. But the way the game plan has been going, it's almost like he's paralyzed because, to his point, they put too much in his head, and he's just kind of freezing. So I look for him to rush a lot this week, but they need to relook at what they are going to do to build his confidence. There need to be some easy, quick completions at the beginning of the game to get him going.
I agree totally, Ramey. What's for dinner, Melting Snowman? I could eat.
We'll do guest appearances if you have food.
Right, exactly. What
At their place for food.
Yeah. Nope. Dinner is done. He's out. Enjoy whatever you're having. Whatever you're having, man.
He did not want Kyle coming to his house.
Right. Well, he wanted to eat.
Right. Don't even let me smell it. Well, if you're a quick eater there, Snowman, just we'll be on here for another 20 minutes, I'm sure. So thanks for joining again and commenting, interacting again. Appreciate it. Notes.
What do you think of Chargers Broncos at Dolphins? I think there's a chance for some points to be scored there. Despite Patrick Surtain's reputation, the secondary as a whole for Denver has not played up to expectations. This is another one that could be a sneaky shootout for the Dolphins. This is another one that I've got just written down. Start them if you got them.
Yep. All of them.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I think this does have
I don't know about
to be a high scoring game. Sorry.
I don't know about Russell Wilson though.
I mean, he's a number 5 fantasy QB right now.
Yeah.
He's got a couple decent receivers. He's got a decent running back to kind of help carry the load in Javonte Williams. Samaje Perine is great out of the backfield. So there's weapons there.
This could be a Perine game. I could see that. They're down shooting. Yep. This could be a Perine game. For sure.
I love me garbage time production.
For sure.
It all counts the same.
Yep.
I would start him as a flex. I'd feel confident starting Perine in a flex.
Yeah. I mean,
if that 6.5.
If you have Russell Wilson, you're not thrilled to start him, but this is going to be, I think, probably one of the better matchups he's going to get all season long.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are decent in coverage, but they don't have much of a pass rush.
No, and that's kind of surprising after bringing Bradley Chubb over and bringing Vic Fangio in the offseason, but he just hasn't been the player he was in Denver. And I agree with you, Matt. I think that lack of pass rush and some of the comments Sean Payton made after the game last week, I could see the Broncos coming out hot and getting an early lead in that game. I think the Dolphins ultimately win the game, but I could see the Broncos coming out and putting up some points.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you got to give Captain High Knees a wristband for him to operate this offense correctly, so be it. At the end of the day, the goal is to score points, and you need to do whatever is necessary to accomplish that. Sean Payton, despite him being a prick, is still a damn good coach. And I'm sure he didn't come out of retirement to look silly like this.
No, that's a long plane ride from Denver to Miami, so he can do his stretches on the plane. Russ Wilson. Do we want?
I think Waddle was in the concussion protocol earlier this week too, wasn't he?
He still is, as far as I know. I'd like to talk about the Monday night games, but Do you guys want to touch on Patriots
That-
Jets before we do at all?
No,
Or
that's going to be a knife fight. They're expecting some weather
Pretty
there
much.
too. So
yeah. The Jets have not beat the Patriots since 2015. That's a span of 14 games. It's
Put all
gonna
your
be
money
ugly.
on the Jets. Thanks,
Yeah.
Kyle.
But yeah, the Monday night games, you got Eagles 2-0 at Bucks and Rams 1-1 at the Bengals. They're 0-2. The Bucks are also 2-0. All four teams have been in the Super Bowl the last 3 years, so interesting matchups here. I think the Rams could sneak one at Cincinnati with how Cincinnati's been looking and depending on who's starting at quarterback.
I do too. I was looking at this one and I saw it was only.
That's a rematch.
of the Super Bowl, a
Super
couple
Bowl
years ago.
56.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. I Stafford looks good with his receivers. Nakua is killing it. He's got more catches in the first 2 weeks than anyone's ever had. I think that they do have a chance to go in there because of the weakness of the Cincinnati defense being I mean, it's pretty weak overall, but the secondary especially. I think that Stafford could kind of go in there and light it up, and they could steal one, especially Kyle if Burrow's not playing.
Yeah, I mean, Stafford's going to put up some yards. I imagine he's going to throw for 300 again this game. Puka Nakua is going to continue to get targeted. Tutu Atwell is going to get some targets, and they're going to turn Kyron Williams loose, who is he's a different kind of back than Cam Akers was. We kind of touched on that archetype earlier. He's more in the Christian McCaffrey archetype, where he's good out of the backfield. He's a good receiver, but he's
not
not
as
the
fast.
biggest guy in the world.
He's not as fast as CMC either.
So well, I mean, it wasn't a direct comparison of talent, more the type of back that they are. So Kyron Williams is not somebody you can run between the tackles 25 times a game and expect him to hold up. You want him more around the 13 to 15 carry mark and utilize him out of the backfield and get him the ball in space.
Yeah. I just want to caution some people on Puka Nakua. He is having an awesome season so far, but it is super volume dependent. He's on pace for 212 catches. That's just not going to happen. Just a few things about them. The first issue, obviously, is Cooper Kupp. He's going to come back. How much is that going to affect Nakua's fantasy outlook going forward? It's going to happen. It's just a question about how much. Looking at some stats today, the least obvious one is Matt Stafford's pass attempts. He's on pace for 791. If y'all remember, Tom Brady set the record last year was 730, something like that.
Yeah.
So he's averaging 40 and a half throws a game. That's not going to keep up. Regardless of how good he has looked, he looks like he's having the fucking time of his life out there. But yeah, and then among the top 24 receiver, Nakua has the fewest fantasy points per target. He's the lowest by a huge margin. He's averaging 1.49 points per look. The other 23 wide receivers that he's grouped with are averaging 2.21. So it's all volume, and it's going to regress very soon. If you have him and you can get like top 15 talent for him, I'd pull the trigger in a flash. I'd sell high.
I wonder if Kupp's out at least 2 more weeks, right? Being on the IR. So
correct.
If it continues, I wonder if it makes Kupp expendable, because they've already they traded Cam Akers today. Do they look at getting Kupp back for a couple games when he's healthy and putting up some numbers, and then looking at a team that's in contention? When I say in contention, the Colts stick out in my head because they need receiver help, but they won't be in contention. But a team like pick it like this. Yeah, everyone I pick already has receivers, and that's probably why they're good. So I wonder if it makes Kupp expendable is my point. I don't know that it will, but it was just a thought that came into my head.
I don't think he's going to get moved. I think the Rams have decided they're going to be a pass first team going forward. And Cup's salary makes it prohibitive for a team to acquire him midseason because of the salary cap. He's due, what is it, $20 million this year.
Ooh.
Next year it's another 20. He signed an extension here. 3 years, 80 million. So, and the Rams don't really have an out until after next season. Then it'll be a $17 million dead cap hit. So, and I'm far from a cap expert, but I know there are implications to trading a player as well.
Yeah. Yep. It was just something that popped into my head. I don't know. We don't have to talk about it tonight, but I'd like to talk about sometime, especially if the Chargers continue to struggle. And then I know we need to move on. With the Chargers, if they do fire Brandon Staley, look to make a trade so that Sean McVay could just walk across the hall and end up coaching the Chargers next year.
I mean, stranger things have happened. That's actually not the worst take I've ever heard.
We can talk about it another time. I know we're tight on time.
That's some friction in the SoFi. Yeah, let's get our aces and deuces and locks right out the way. I can just start first as soon as I think here. Ace of the week, my first one. What's that? Thank you. Throw the other thing up too. Wherever it is.
I got it.
Nice.
Teamwork.
Jared Goff at home, he is pretty unstoppable. Last season, 21 points he averaged there. I think he's a must start for me against Atlanta's defense, not very good in coverage or pass rush grade. Next, I'm going with a little wild card. Sky Moore had 70 yards last week and a touchdown. Bears have given up an average of 18.6 PPR points to opposing wide receivers.
This wasn't updated. This still says Madison.
Oh, dang. That's a bummer.
There, now it doesn't say anything.
All right. Yep. Cool. Awesome. Forgot to fix that. See, we have problems here. But I like him this week against the Bears pass defense or defense in total. They're horrible. Deuces, other side of the coin there in Chicago. Justin Fields. Chiefs have been tough on quarterbacks so far. He's last in the league in average depth of target. Pass grade 29th in the league. I bench him this week. Find somebody else. Brock Purdy, I like better tonight if you got time to pick him up. And my other deuce, I'm staying in the NFC North. Jordan Love looked good so far. 6 touchdowns, hasn't turned the ball over. New Orleans is going to be the first real defense he's faced so far this year. That defense travels well. I like Jordan Love on the bench this week. I would fade on him. Ramey? Oh, no. Should I do my lock? Shit. Yeah, yes. Let me do my lock. Sorry. My sports betting lock of the week, I got Dolphins -6 at home versus the Broncos. Denver's failed to cover in the first 2 games under Sean Payton, and Dolphins have covered 5 straight dating back to last year. I feel confident in that. Boom. All right. Ramey.
Do you want me to go next, or did you want to go, Matt?
You can go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. My aces this week are Trevor Lawrence against Houston. That Houston defense is trash, and the Colts put up quite a few points on them last week. The Jaguars are going to lean on Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk to an extent, ETN. They've just got a ton of weapons that I don't think Houston will be able to stop. The Jaguars defense, I know we talked about this earlier, Matt. Also not great. Good, but not great. Okay, but not great. So I looked that this could potentially be a higher scoring game so that Lawrence still has to push the ball down the field even as we get into the third and fourth quarter. Also, Jordan Addison, we've already touched on it, so I won't hit it too hard, but that Chargers defense is terrible. So start everybody, but especially start Jordan Addison if you've got him on your bench. I think he's worth a start this week. My deuces, Deshaun Watson against Tennessee. Watching him on Monday night, it looked like something just wasn't quite right. And I know that Nick Chubb had a catastrophic injury, so that probably shook the entire team a little bit. But just Deshaun Watson hasn't looked right since he was having a good time down in H-Town. So I would fade him. And then Zach Moss, this one hurts me, but he had a really nice game last week. He had 18 carries, 88 yards, and a touchdown. But that Baltimore defense is much better than the Houston defense. And with Richardson being out, I think the Ravens will be focusing on stopping the run and making Minshew beat them through the air, and I don't see that happening. So I don't like Zach Moss this week. My lock of the week, we talked about this earlier, but I'm taking the Titans plus 3.5 at the Browns. Not confident in Deshaun Watson, which is why he was one of my deuces. And I think that the Titans are good enough to go up there, play good defense against the run, play good enough on offense to score more. That I think they win outright, but I would definitely take plus 3.5. I just don't see the Browns winning this game, but if at the very least, I see the Titans covering. So that's my lock of the week.
Nice.
All right. For my aces, waiting for the graphic to change. There we go. I'm going with Travis Etienne. I think the Jaguars are going to win that game. Houston's awful against the run. They're awful against everything. He should go off. And then Kirk Cousins, same deal with the Chargers. They can't stop shit. For my deuces, I'm going to go with Browns running back Jerome Ford going up against the Titans. I know it. Are you done fucking around?
Technical difficulties. Can't read.
It's all operator error.
Anyways,
Browns running back Jerome Ford. He's going up against the Titans. That run defense is legit. And Mike Evans. Look, I don't think Baker Mayfield is going to continue to play at the level that he's played at, and Philly's secondary is pretty goddamn good. This is as good a week as any for him to come back down to earth. And then for my lock of the week, I am going with the Steelers at the Raiders over 4.
God, Ted, I was handling it, and you could just
you didn't
talk.
say shit. I already had it up on there on the screen. Are you not looking at the screen? Are you looking at the screen?
Are you looking at the chat? My private chat.
No, I'm trying to talk. I'm presenting here. Look at the screen that's in front of you. All I'm asking is you pay attention just fucking once. Can you do that for me, please? Please.
Click your own buttons, asshole. Click your own buttons.
I was, and then you kept taking my shit down. And somehow through the course of aces and deuces, that didn't dawn on you. You didn't pick that up.
I was putting it up, and it doesn't show that it was up. So it doesn't. Anyway, continue. Just go ahead, fucker.
You sure? You want to rip that down off the screen again? I can give you time.
Can I finish?
Anyway,
go ahead.
Steelers at Raiders over 43 points. These are two very shitty defenses. Steelers are okay. Raiders, not so much. Both teams can put some points on the board. This is a pretty damn low total anyway. At 24-21 gets you over.
Nice. I like those, Matt.
Thanks.
The graphics were a little confusing, but I think your presentation was great.
Fuck you, Matt.
I do what I can with what I have to work with, which today is not much.
No, sorry. I'm not my fault. You're not paying attention to the private chats. So pay attention, Matt.
Attention to what's on the
so college football
says the guy who was reading the comment out loud while Matt was talking about it.
Yeah. I had no idea. I was looking at something. Ton of top 25 matchups this week in college football. The big one I know that Ramey has been itching about to talk about since 4th of July or so is Notre Dame. No, it's at Notre Dame. Ohio State at Notre Dame. If any of you who are not watching, because there's zero, know me and Matt, you know that we hate both teams. If I was to choose with a gun to my head, I would definitely say the team from Ohio. I hate or loathe more, but I don't care. It could be a tie. I'd be fine with that.
It's a shame that's not possible anymore.
Yeah.
I'll give the edge to Notre fucking Dame since they're at home. They've got field goal Jesus, and just quite frankly, I could never bring myself to predict an Ohio victory. I would never bet on them to win anything other than, shittiest school in the shittiest state.
Notre Dame +3. I'm taking it all day long. I think they win outright, but getting points on them, I would hammer that. Ohio State doesn't
especially at
look like,
home.
yeah, Ohio State doesn't look like the Ohio State of old, of even a year ago. And Notre Dame has a quarterback finally, and they're able to put up some points. So I think it'll be a fairly high scoring game, but I think Notre Dame covers easily. You guys want to talk
Fuck
about
'em.
Michigan?
Fuck them. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Michigan. Yeah. 3-0 in the Big Ten. We're in Big Ten conference
Is your
play now. Jim
he's
Harbaugh's
coming back?
back, our Lord and Savior.
Yes.
Yes, we're very happy. It has to be super uplifting for that team and that locker room, and the coaching staff and the fans, of course, because I'm happy he's back. The line's -24, Michigan. They haven't covered the spread yet.
They've been some
Greg,
big ass spreads though.
there have been. They might not cover this one either. Greg Schiano always gives us fucking issues. I could see some issues in the first half again, but then they pull ahead and win easily. But I don't know if it's over 24.
Yeah, I think the offense is going to look better this week with Jim Harbaugh back. And look, he did his staff a solid by giving everybody a little bit of taste at sitting in the big chair. But Papa's home now, and he sits at the head of the table and gets the big steak.
Yeah.
Acknowledge him.
Yes. Our tribal chief has returned. I think you're going to see a more cohesive offense. I think you'll see the best game out of Michigan thus far this year.
Yeah. I don't have an opinion but best of luck to you guys. Cheeseburgers for
Thank
everybody after the game.
Yes, and at 3:30 there's a game on ABC. Colorado travels to Eugene, Oregon to play the Ducks, and I hope the Colorado Buffaloes get smacked right in the fucking mouth.
Oregon's a 21-point favorite, so that's what Vegas thinks is going to happen. I
Yep,
kind of see
Travis.
Colorado staying within. He is out. Sorry, Travis.
Yeah,
cut
he's
it
out.
I kind of see Colorado staying within 21, but I don't think they win.
I'm inclined to agree. I just want them to at least lose one, so maybe they won't fucking shove Colorado Buffalo up my ass on YouTube and ESPN and all that.
How you feeling about that total at 70? That's a big ass nut to cover right there.
It sure is. God, my gut tells me to go. My gut tells. Oh shit. My gut tells me to go over, but they're just not very. Both teams aren't super great defensively.
It tells you to go over, but you looked like you were going to throw up the first two times you tried to say it.
Because I just
listen to the
feeling.
sausage, gravy, and biscuits.
Yeah, that's what it. That's what it is. Ole Miss, Alabama.
Yeah,
Ole Miss, Alabama. They're 15th, and Alabama's ranked 13th. This is in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Give me Ole Miss and the points.
Happen there. Didn't Ole Miss already beat them? Alabama there. Didn't Ole Miss beat Alabama there?
It's been a while. It might have been when Hugh Freeze was there, but they haven't since Kiffin's been there. They've come close, and Alabama's not good. I don't like Alabama in this. I might put a few dollars on Ole Miss money line.
I'm same.
Yeah. Yep. Alabama does not have quarterback figured out
or offensive coordinator.
No, they do not.
How do you feel about that, Reese, Ramey?
What else do we got? There's Oregon State, Washington State.
There's a lot of good games on this week.
Iowa,
UCLA, Utah,
Iowa, and Penn State. I see where Iowa goes into Penn State.
Happy Valley
pulls one out. They're ranked 24th. Penn State's 7th. It could happen.
They do that every 6 or 7 years. It seems like a last second touchdown.
Don't forget how Matt's high on Iowa. He picked them to reach the college football playoff. So this would be a big win on their resume.
Iowa.
Iowa.
He's high on Iowa.
Iowa. Yeah, that sounds good.
High on Iowa
Um,
and stoned on sports.
Yep.
Right. Anything else out there? UCLA, Utah. Utah's going to win. Is what's his name?
I don't
Rising
know.
back
I kind
playing?
of like UCLA in that game.
Is
Don't be
Cam
shocked.
Rising playing?
I don't think so.
He's
The
still out.
backup's pretty good. Yeah.
He's not
It's
too
only-
bad. I watched the week 1 or whatever of them play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Florida State travels to Clemson. Should be able to take care of business there. But
Ooh,
Clemson's
Florida State,
still
Clemson.
Yeah,
Yep.
Clemson's unranked.
Well,
yeah,
that's
they
true.
are
They're
they
not.
are unranked. They're 2-1. The
Duke
line's
beat them.
Florida State's -2. 55 is the line.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Just
Um,
-2.
Yeah. I might.
so we will look for a couple 4 pillars videos. Those are our 4 core to start in NFL DFS for the main slate on Sunday. Those will come out late morning, 11:30 or so. We'll have some good DFS starting lineups for you. At least, like I said, the 4 core: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. You fill in the rest, you get some. You're going to win some money. Aces and Deuces. Real quick, I must talk about this. Hold on, I gotta find it though. So last week, Aces and Deuces for week 2. Kyle got 4 out of 5 correct. Matt 3 out of 5 correct, and Ramey sadly only got 1 out of 5 correct. The only one you picked right was T. Higgins as an ace. Algier you picked as an ace, and he had under 5 points. Prescott you picked as a deuce, and he had 23.5 points. And McLaurin you picked as a deuce. He had almost 14. He had a touchdown. So not so good. So far I'm winning. So because I made a tracker because I'm a freaking little data nerd.
I wondered why you were bringing that up today for the first time ever. Our record.
Yep.
Since you're in first. Congratulations.
Yep, I'm in first. Yep. How are you doing in the listener league, Ramey? I can't remember what we talked about Tuesday. Do you have anybody going tonight?
He's not in last.
Yeah.
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 Do you have anybody going tonight?
No, I had Saquon, but he got hurt, so
I had
he's
IU
out tonight.
and removed
Who are
him.
you replacing? Who are you replacing him with?
DeAndre Swift, since I had him on my bench for the Thursday night game last week.
Right.
And
He'll have like 7. He'll have 7.
Yeah, oh yeah. He'll get hurt. He'll get hurt on his first carry, fumble the ball.
He'll get hurt. He'll get hurt. It'll
And-
be minor, and he'll need 6 weeks to fucking
Yeah.
on the sideline. So you just wait. It'll happen. But
Gets a hang
All right,
nail
Matt.
straight to IR.
yep, exactly. But yeah, thanks for the comments today. That was awesome. Some interaction. We love it. Any questions you got for us? What we think about fantasy? Start sits or buy, sell, holds, or trades, like we talked about here earlier with a
Wagers.
listener. Yep, wagers. So really fun being here with you fellas. I really love this new format. Recap on Tuesdays and preview the upcoming week on Thursday nights. Live streams for an hour or so. I like it.
Yeah. We'll be back on Tuesday. In the meantime, don't forget to visit our website, www.stonedonsportspodcast.com. It'll just be Kyle and me on Tuesday. Matt is otherwise
Prior engagements.
Yeah, prior
Yeah.
engagements. So we will see you guys on Tuesday, fellas.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this too.
Yeah. Let the awkwardness begin on Tuesday.
Mhm. Kyle and I
Right.
staring contest for 35 minutes.
Right. The Stone Down Sports Podcast with the 2 introverts. It should be fun. We'll see you Tuesday. Thanks for joining, everybody. Enjoy Thursday night football. I hope you win some bets and some cash.
Yeah.